The rain was cold that evening, the kind that soaks through your soul when you're already drowning in silence. Ethan stood outside the university gates, his worn-out shoes half submerged in puddles, clutching a small, crumpled note in his trembling hands. The words on it were simple, yet they carried the weight of every lonely night he had spent dreaming of a better tomorrow. Would you be my date to the dance? He wasn't the kind of boy people noticed. His clothes were plain, his backpack was secondhand, and his world revolved around scholarships, late-night jobs, and instant noodles. But that day, something inside him whispered, ask her. Ask the kind-eyed nurse who smiled at you when you couldn't afford your medical checkup last semester. Ask her, even if it sounds impossible. Before we dive deeper into Ethan's story, a story about courage, humility, and how one act of kindness can change two lives forever, take a moment to support our channel, Kindness Speaks. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the beauty of unexpected miracles, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more real, emotional stories that touch the heart. Now, let's begin. Ethan had grown up in the kind of home where silence spoke louder than words. His mother worked in a diner 12 hours a day, her hands rough and tired. His father had left when he was 9, leaving behind debt and broken promises. College was never meant for someone like him, but he fought for it anyway. Every night he worked at a small gas station, stocking shelves and cleaning floors, saving every coin for tuition and rent. And then there was her. Lily, the nurse at the campus clinic. Her presence felt like sunlight after rain, gentle, comforting, and far too bright for someone like him to look at directly. She wasn't just beautiful, she had a kindness that disarmed people. When Ethan had come in with a fever one winter morning, she had smiled and said softly, "You look like you haven't eaten in days." She had given him soup from her own lunchbox, warm, rich, and healing. That day, he felt something he hadn't in years seen. Weeks passed, and her smile became his quiet motivation. Every time he saw her in the hallway, laughing softly with students, his heart felt lighter. But he knew his place. She probably came from a different world, one where people didn't have to count coins at the cafeteria. Still, when the university announced the upcoming charity dance, something inside him refused to stay silent. For once, he wanted to feel normal. For once, he wanted to ask someone, not because he had something to offer, but because he felt something real. So, he wrote the note, folded it twice, carried it in his pocket for 2 days. When he finally gathered the courage, Lily was leaving the clinic, her hair tied up, her white coat draped over one arm. She turned when he called her name, softly, hesitantly. Her eyes lit up with that same gentle kindness. Ethan's voice trembled as he handed her the note. I know this might sound silly, but, would you be my date to the dance? For a moment, the world stood still. Rain tapped against the pavement, the wind carried the faint scent of spring, and she just looked at him, really looked. Then she smiled. You're brave, Ethan, she said softly. I'll think about it. And she walked away. Ethan spent the next few days trying not to think about it, convincing himself she'd never say yes. But that Friday evening, as he was stacking soda cans at the gas station, his phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. I'll be your date. Meet me at the dance, 7 p.m. His heart nearly stopped. He showed up that night wearing a borrowed suit 2 sizes too big. His shoes were polished, his hair neatly combed, and in his chest, his heart thundered with disbelief. The hall glowed with golden light, music floated softly through the air, and laughter echoed around him. He felt out of place, until he saw her. Lily stepped through the entrance like something out of a dream. Her dress was a soft shade of blue, her hair flowing loosely over her shoulders, and when she smiled at him across the room, everything else disappeared. The whispers began almost immediately. Students turned their heads, the nurse. With him. But Ethan didn't care. That night, he didn't feel poor or invisible. That night, he felt alive. They danced under the string lights, and for a few perfect moments, the world melted away. She laughed when he stepped on her toes, he blushed when she whispered that he was a better dancer than he thought. Then, as the music slowed, she looked up at him and said something that would change his life forever. Ethan, she said softly, you have no idea how much this means to me. Most people only see the surface, my job, my clothes, my family's name. You didn't ask me because of who I am. You asked me because you saw me. He blinked, confused. What do you mean? She smiled sadly. My father, he owns half the medical centers in this city. I'm his daughter. But I work as a nurse because I wanted to earn my place in the world. To be seen for my heart, not my last name. Ethan froze. For a moment, he thought it was a cruel joke, but her eyes were honest. His stomach sank. I shouldn't have asked you, he whispered. You belong to a world I can't even dream of. She shook her head. No, Ethan. Tonight proved that hearts don't belong to worlds, they belong to people. The night ended, but her words lingered. They started meeting for coffee after that. Slowly, a friendship bloomed, fragile, real, and unspoken. But not everyone approved. When her father found out, the storm began. He called Ethan into his office, a towering building of glass and steel, with walls that smelled of money and power. Stay away from my daughter, the man said coldly. You have nothing to offer her. Ethan didn't argue. He just nodded, thanked him for his time, and left quietly. That night, he didn't sleep. He packed his things and left town the next morning. He couldn't be the reason she lost her family's trust. He found work in a nearby city, repairing cars and studying part-time. Months turned into years. He built his life from scratch, piece by piece. One rainy evening, much like the one years before, he was closing the garage when he heard a familiar voice behind him. You really just left, she said quietly. He turned, and there she was. Lily. Older, stronger, her eyes still carrying that same warmth. He didn't know what to say. I thought I was doing the right thing, he murmured. She stepped closer, rain glistening in her hair. You were the only person who ever saw me, not as a CEO's daughter, not as a nurse, but as a person. I never stopped looking for you. That night, under the same kind of rain that once carried his dreams away, they stood together again, not as a poor student and a rich daughter, but as two souls who finally found home. Sometimes love isn't about wealth or status. It's about seeing someone for who they truly are, and having the courage to believe that kindness, no matter how small, can bridge even the widest gap. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness and sincerity still matter in this world, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in love beyond appearances, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks for more stories that heal and inspire.